How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Geeks on Screen podcast, brought to you by geekswithwives.com. We are a podcast where all we do is geek out about movies and TV shows and other things that are entertaining, like theater or music or the
Sports.
sports,
Sports. Sports
sports,
ball.
Looking at you,
or
sports people.
holographic video capturing eyewear, as is the case for today. So,
Microsoft.
so yeah. So as
See, I
always,
have no idea what's going on with that.
Well, you're gonna learn in this podcast.
yep. If you're like Tyler and you have no idea what a holographic little Total Recall like hologram device is, listen to this podcast and you will be enlightened. So as always, joining me is my lovely co-hosts, Steven. Steven, how's it going?
It is going fantastic. We had a wonderful week, and I've been looking forward to this podcast all week, so I'm ready.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks. So next up, we've got Tommy. Tommy, how's it going, man?
It's going good, man. I had a good week, and I've been on cloud nine, just waiting for this podcast, waiting for the moment to geek out. I'm ready.
Man, you guys have no lives, do you?
Right, now.
No, we
No.
don't.
Work,
Why do you think
sleep,
we're on
and
this
talk to you.
podcast?
In the bottom left, we have Tyler. Tyler, how's it going, man?
It is going good. I am just currently sending out invites to look at our faces live.
Oh, Lord. Well, this week,
And,
yeah, I was just going to say this
All right.
week, as everyone can see, is a little bit different than usual because we have a fifth square on the Geeks on Screen. So we've got one of our guest geeks this week is Wayne. Wayne, how's it going, man?
It's going okay. It's nice and early here, and I'm wide awake. So,
Yeah.
but it's been a good week, and I'm looking forward to my first podcast. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, the only man that has been on this podcast. It's been 3 episodes, but you are awake earlier than I am, which is a horrible, horrible feeling. I feel bad
And
for you.
surprisingly, I can talk this early in the morning. So,
Well, you got your tea, right? That's like running through British
Yep.
people's veins.
it's here.
Got it on an IV drip, just like, come on. I need the caffeine. All right, so Wayne, I think you need to wake up, man. You need to wake up. So we're gonna start off immediately, and we're gonna begin with Tyler. Tyler, what did you watch this week?
I didn't really watch much. I started the Grand Budapest Hotel.
But you are
Yeah,
awake
it's a
earlier
beautiful
than
movie.
I am.
If you like
Which
Wes
is-
Anderson, it's really good. If you don't like Wes Anderson or have never watched a Wes Anderson movie, it's really good. Ralph Fiennes is in it. Cerise Ronan, I'm probably butchering that name. Tilda
Yeah.
Swinton is in it.
That's one of
just
those
a
names
lot
that I
of-
knew who exactly you were talking about, but I have no clue who she is.
Yeah. Cerise Ronan, she was in Hannah, How I Live Now, stuff like that.
Howie
Tilda
Mandel.
Swinton.
No,
Howie Mandel. Oh,
No.
man.
No.
fist
No.
bump.
Cool.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've really watched this week. I've just been busy this week. I'm sorry, guys. I'm
Oh,
I'm
you're
not
off
a
the
good
team.
opener.
No, just kidding. All right, well, thanks, Tyler. So next up, we're going to go with Tommy. Tommy, what'd you watch this week?
Only thing I watched this week, I'm a little ashamed to admit it, but I will. I watched Frozen.
Oh, how sweet is that?
You're such a girl,
Yeah.
Tommy.
Did you watch it by yourself in a dark room, or?
Considering my lights were off, it was just me. Yeah, I mean, kind of did. But,
Why
girlfriend-
did you watch it?
Girlfriend asked me to.
Okay, well then
Couldn't say
that's
no.
okay. That's okay.
I mean, it's perfectly fine
I-
if you.
I heard the whip
You wanna-
crack, Everett, and I mean, I'll live with the whip crack because I'm happy. So if that means getting whipped every now and then, I'm good.
Oh,
Oh, you no, that's the whip crack means something different. You got that wrong.
right.
Depends.
Uh,
We'll get into
Ta-
that next podcast. Anyway,
Yeah.
what did you
Oh
think? What
God.
did you think about Frozen? Is it a good
honestly,
movie?
man, honestly, it's a it's an okay movie for what it is. Like I can see why people don't like it, especially if you have kids and have to watch it multiple times.
Yeah.
Also, if the kids continuously sing that song.
Yes,
Let
that
it
is another
go.
and
Which
that's pretty much and
Adele
that's
does need to
why
apologize for that.
yeah.
Wait, her name's
Especially
not
when they've
Adele.
got the
His name is,
soundtrack.
yeah,
You
No,
sound
man.
like you have experience in that.
No, I mean,
Wayne's like, yeah. Wayne's like, no, I just bought it for myself.
Obviously, tell everybody the secret's gone. That's it.
this is the
No,
last
it's a
time he'll be in the podcast. Great.
Yeah.
no, it's a decent movie. I mean, it's I don't know, it's worth at least one watch. Wasn't too bad. I probably won't watch it again. Unless I'm asked to again.
Or you have children, because it'll forever be around.
Yeah. Other
I've
than
only-
that, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I've only seen a small like chunk of it, and it was all in Swedish, which I found appropriate because it's all set like in Scandinavia, like everyone's like a Viking type thing, and right now
Kind of.
Sweden is
Yeah,
frozen,
it's
so
set in that region.
yeah, so it's kind of appropriate, and they actually dub all their Disney films here. Like the mouths don't sync, but they all sing in Swedish and speak Swedish, and it's pretty great. They do a pretty good job at that.
I think it'd be cool just to actually watch the movie, in Swedish, even though I wouldn't know what they were saying. It'd still be kind of cool.
Yeah. So, Wayne, you've kind of seen how we do. So, tell me what you watched this week.
I'm pretty much catching up with everything that everybody else has already watched.
That's what
I've
I do a
recently
lot.
watched, yeah, especially with me.
Yeah.
Marco Polo, I've been watching on
Oh, nice.
Netflix.
What do you think of that? I've only seen 5 episodes. I didn't get to it this week, but
I'm only
Really?
a couple episodes. I'm a couple episodes in.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. The world that they portray is immense, and it's pretty graphic in what they do. But it's really enjoyable when you get into it. You just need to not be closed-minded because obviously you're dealing with a place and a time where everything's completely different,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just the way everything's set. You've got all the costumes and the period work. It's pretty good, and
Cool.
I do like to let my imagination run wild, so it works for me.
I think the guy that's playing Kubla Khan, I think I said it last week, he's incredible. He's the best part of that whole show. Like
Oh, he definitely nails
like
it.
Marco Polo himself is a little lame. And I was telling, I'm not sure who I was telling, but it's one of those cases like why did they name it Marco Polo? Because everybody's thinking of the pool game whenever every single time they say Marco, you want to like yell at your TV Polo. So
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good, especially when the first thing his dad does is say, "Well, I've just met my son. Here, have him."
yeah, exactly. Freaking jerk. Yeah, yeah. I thought that was a good show. So moving on, we're gonna go to Steven. Steven, what did you watch this week, man?
Well, I watched some of our newest playthrough videos that we're going to have up on the channel. That's something I watched. It's Everett and I are playing Marvel Heroes. I've never played before, and we're making it a whole YouTube series, and it's very funny and lots of fun to play, and it'll be lots of fun for you guys to watch. Something that you can find on this YouTube channel right now on Saturday. So every Saturday, a new episode's going to go up. So that was fun. This week I edited all those videos and got them scheduled to post. And really the only other thing I watched was Lost. I wanted to watch Face Off so Tyler and I could talk about it, but I didn't get to. So I feel really bad. we'll have to talk about it next week maybe. But
Now, are you talking about Face Off, the John Travolta, Nick Cage,
no,
fantastic action movie?
I love that movie. Peaches. I could eat peaches all day.
I'm gonna rip your face off, like in that movie Face Off.
Take the knife and you stick it in and then you twist it. No, we're talking about the sci-fi television series that someday maybe I can be a part of. Until then, I'll just watch. But yeah, I watched Lost. I'm like Wayne. I've been catching up on other stuff that I've missed out on. And
so you know what that means? It's time for everybody. What does Steven think is happening on Lost? Steven, what is happening on Lost?
We need a fancy
transition
jingle.
Yeah.
Theme tune.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'll just tell you briefly where we're at, because most of you have seen it and know what happens and whatever. We are in season 3, about halfway through the season, and basically my mind was melted when I finally put together, about 10 minutes before they made the obvious reveal, that Locke's father is the Sawyer, that James Sawyer, that ruined his life, that stole his parents' money, that caused his father to kill his mother and then kill himself, which caused Sawyer to take the name Sawyer. So, I put the pieces together about 10 minutes before they do the big screen reveal. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm sitting there with my girlfriend. I'm like, I can tell you what's going to happen in the next little bit before this episode's over. She's like, no. I'm like, I have to. And so I told her, and she's like, oh my gosh. And so that's where we are in the series. I have changed my prediction to what I think is going on. I think I almost feel like now it's more like Source Code, if you saw that movie.
Oh man, that movie's awesome.
Where it's his consciousness and it's linked with the machine. And I almost feel like everybody's having almost an out-of-body experience like the Matrix. It's just their minds, because that would be the only way to really explain the island and what it's going through. Locke's dad even said, it's a little hot for heaven, and so he thought it was hell.
You sound like you're on a lot of acid right now, Steve.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like their minds and
fun, and
they're out of
the little pink elephant, and yeah.
And then there was a polar bear on a tropical island and everything.
Right. The shark had a Dharma symbol on it. That's the only thing I know. The shark, I'm telling you, I saw it. It was on his tail when it swam by.
I just like how excited you are about Lost. You're like, oh man, I can't wait to tweet about this.
It's the best series ever that everyone already knows what's happening. But the only reason I'm watching it is because it didn't get canceled.
10 years too late.
It ran its course.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. I'm just a little late.
You're out on the street with a newspaper like, hear ye, everyone. So I know what happened on Lost today.
I can't even go to work and talk about it with my friends. I'm like, so they're like, yeah, we watched new NCIS and blah, 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 and this guy did that. And I'm like, I watched Lost season 3. And let me tell you, I have no clue what's happening. And they're like, oh, yeah, my kids have watched Lost. Blah,
yeah,
blah.
Yeah, he shows up to work, everybody's talking about what they watched, then Steven, I watched Lost! They all roll their eyes.
They're just like, Steven, go away.
I'm that guy that's discovering really popular bands several years later down the road.
Guys,
have you ever heard of Springsteen?
Not alone.
Yeah.
I do exactly the same thing.
Guys, I just discovered this amazing band. They're called the Beatles.
Here's this guy. His name is Paul. He's awesome. Yeah, so that's been my week. A lot of YouTube editing and Lost and
nice.
mind-melting
Mind-melting stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
So what did you watch?
yeah, so I didn't watch a whole lot of new stuff. I watched Dracula Untold, which I've been saying that I was going to get to for like the past two shows. Finally watched it. It was pretty good. It was, what's his name? Luke Evans? Is that his name?
Yes.
Luke
He's in the
Evans?
Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah, the guy
Yes.
that plays Bard, the
Yep. And
bowman. And
yeah,
he,
and he was
To kill Smog.
yeah, he
yeah,
was
he,
actually supposed to be in the Crow reboot as well, but he backed out.
he would have made a good crow. But
Yeah.
I don't know. He was really good. It was the best way I can describe that movie is it's Game of Thrones mixed with what was I
Van
gonna say?
Helsing.
Yeah, kind of, pretty much. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like a really dark movie because it's the origin of Dracula, of Vlad the and Dracula was Vlad the Impaler, and so he start like half the movie he's Vlad, and then like his country gets under attack, and so he has to call out like he has to go to this cave and where he finds Charles Dance, who plays Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. He's like, Dracula was always supposed to be the first vampire, but apparently Charles Dance is. So Tywin Lannister is the first vampire. So yeah, he basically
You
begs
heard
him
it here
for
first.
his power to save his country and blah de blah. He become
Drink Dracula.
yeah, exactly. He does the whole like and then pours it in like a broken skull, and makes him drink it, and he trips out, and it's pretty cool.
It watches Lost.
Yeah, right. We might be doing a show here in like 2 years, another like canceled TV and movie show, like a revisit where we're gonna talk about that movie again because they set it up. It's almost like a sequel or a prequel. Sorry, a prequel to something later because the end of it is
Hmm.
it's like a cliffhanger ish ending. So yeah, it's definitely worth seeing. It's got some really cool graphics.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to
That was
definitely
one I
check.
really. That was definitely one I wanted to see, and I saw a guy build his entire suit of armor
Oh
out of
man,
EVA foam.
that thing is awesome.
I think
It
I
was
saw
amazing.
that.
Really something cool.
Yeah, and they like the graphics are just really cool. He's the typical vampire Dracula-ish guy, and he can like turn into a swarm of bats. And so they do like these cool like scenes where they're fighting in the woods, and he's just like bats, stab person, bats, cut someone's head off, bats, and they do like this really cool stuff. So yeah,
Like Batman when he jumps down that hallway, that tunnel.
oh yeah, there's a
Shit.
scene where he's basically on top of a tower controlling a swarm of bats, and it's just like that. So yeah, that was cool.
Nice.
I just watched last night during dinner. I just watched the half season premiere of New Girl, which is my favorite comedy that's on right now since Happy Endings got finished. And that show is hysterical. My freaking god! I don't know, like Steven, I think you said you haven't seen that show, right?
No, I don't. I haven't. Not
See,
yet.
a lot of
I've seen
people.
a few episodes. I've seen a few.
Yeah, I've seen I watched consistently pretty much for the first two seasons and then sort of dropped off.
A lot of
Yeah,
people
it's
see
pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of people see Zoe Deschanel, and they're just like, she's not been that funny and everything else that I've seen, so I'm not really gonna watch it. But it's really like she's funny in that show, but it's all her supporting actors that are just hysterical, like Damon Wayans
Right.
Jr.
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
forgot the guy that plays Schmidt's name, but he is freaking hilarious. And
Oh
the-
yeah,
the-
Schmidt's hilarious.
yeah, Schmidt makes that whole show for me. He's the
That's
best
the way
character.
they all gel together.
Yeah, exactly. And then you got freaking Nick, who's just the laziest slob in the whole apartment. That show is fantastic. But I didn't know if Steven, if you wanted to mention The Flash or Arrow while we still have time.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing I have watched. Flash came back from their mid-season, I guess, their break,
Yeah, mid-season
uh,
break.
and they came back with a vengeance. It was great. I'm not going to spoil it since it just happened. We can talk about it more next week, and I'll go into detail about it. But,
Yeah.
I just recently started reading the New 52 Flash comics, and I'm getting a lot of, I guess, knowledge about these characters and these villains and different things, and it's not all the same what the
Yeah.
CW's doing with it, but knowing some of their backgrounds is making the show even more interesting for me because they're doing a good job with it, and it was an incredible start. I didn't watch Arrow because
I
I'm
haven't
not
either.
caught back up with Arrow. I'm actually almost a whole season behind in Arrow, which is
Oh,
sad.
Steven.
Ira just
How could you
died
do
was the
that?
last episode that I watched, so
Steven,
I'm
come
like
on.
way back.
Call yourself a CWDC Universe fan? Come on, man.
I know, it's
Just
okay.
Alright, so moving on, let's get into the news. So, I, you know, I came up with a few little things on the XSplit that we could talk about. So we've got, I, I'll start off with something that is ludicrous, and that is that Mockingjay Part 1 finally overtook Guardians of the Galaxy as the top
Wow.
movie of 2014 in sales.
I declare
Which-
bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, they passed up Guardians of the Galaxy.
I am Groot.
Yeah, I am Mockingjay. So yeah,
I
I
am
like
apparent-
both of them,
stretched
but
out
even I don't
Isn't
believe
one of the
that.
same ring?
yeah, I don't know. I think it's that teen girl power, man. Teen girl power just beats out the.
I think it's
Geeks.
the fathers like Wayne who take their daughters to see that
Right,
have made it beat out.
right.
Does it pick on the new guy?
It's not. It's not. It's just you're a dad.
Wayne's like,
You have to.
Wayne's like, shut up, Steven. I went and saw Mockingjay 5 times. Okay.
And I only took my
ju-
kids.
I just
once.
really like that movie.
I have seen Frozen about 5 times, but not Mockingjay.
Hey, I've seen it at least 5 times, and I'm not even married.
Well, at least I've got a good excuse.
Right, exactly. I'm just pitiful.
So, we got some casting news from the X-Men not Age of Apocalypse, but Apocalypse movie. Apocalypse. So they got Sansa Stark as Jean Grey, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
I'm really
that-
happy about that.
Yeah, that's not her real name. It's like Sophie Turner, I think.
Yes, it is. It's Sophie Turner.
I was telling Tommy, and Tommy called me an ass directly afterward. Like, she is like perfect for Jean Grey, except for she's a giant. Like Sophie Turner is like at almost 6 feet tall. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's not like they've gotten much right otherwise
Right.
in these movies.
Right, right.
Wolverine's not short either.
I
Yeah.
think it'll be funny when they show Beast and then they show Jean Grey and they're the same size.
And almost have as much hair.
Oh God. Yeah.
I immediately regret saying that.
You can
I'm glad you.
you can contact Steven
It's
at
live.
Invictus Cosplay. He will mansplain more this episode, so stay tuned.
It's live, Steven.
He-
So
he's-
think.
He's being a gatekeeper.
Right, yeah. Gator's gonna gape.
Let's just not get into this now.
Oh my God, I'm using fake words, Tyler. Okay, come on, they don't
They're
mean
not
it.
real.
So,
They're not
another
real.
news,
Lots
another
of
news
people.
besides Jean cast, we have Alexandra Shipp as Storm, who I do not know, and Ty Sheardon as Cyclops. So I have no idea what that
And
Who those
Channing
people are.
Tatum
Channing
No.
Tatum
as Gambit.
as Gumbutt.
As me as Gambit.
Yes.
That would be a better
Yes.
casting call.
Also, Oscar Isaac is Apocalypse.
Oh,
Oscar
yeah.
Isaac is going to be in The Force Awakens. So I'm actually really excited about that.
Yeah, and he said
Um,
something about how his suit's gonna be like partly CGI, which we all
Yeah,
assume.
he said that his Apocalypse will have some sort of he said that they got plaster of his head, so his costume's gonna have some sort of head bit.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So it'll have a facial appliance and then it'll be some crazy outfit.
Well,
Yeah,
Apocalypse
it'll
is
at
always
least be
weird.
the lines on his face.
Right.
Well, Apocalypse was
like
always like the one
Thanos.
that could like stretch his legs and his arms and shit. So
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
they make him huge. So yeah, Suicide Squad news. We got reports that they're gonna add Deathstroke to the movie.
Which would be really cool. I think.
Yeah.
I think that would be a nice addition to it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal dropped out, or he didn't drop out, but
He
the rumors were
declined.
false. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually
and-
remember mentioning that.
And so
Last episode.
so Tom Hardy's replacement's going to be like the Pharaoh guy from Gods Exodus, Gods and Kings, I think. I don't know his name, but
Joel Edgerton.
yeah, there you go.
Should have been The
So-
Rock from Scorpion King.
So I'm pretty excited. Deathstroke's amazing. So, I don't know. It's one of those. It's kind of like they're going to do the Joker and they're going to do Deathstroke after Manu Bennett just blew him like out of the water. I think he did an
Right.
awesome Deathstroke.
Oh, he was
Oh,
brilliant.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, Steven, where it sucks that they're not using the actors from the show in the movies, and like people aren't getting as uproared about them recasting Deathstroke as they did about Flash. But I think to me it's the same.
Yeah, and I think you'd have more people backing and gunning for the movie like
Yeah.
we support it if they use these characters they've already established.
Yeah.
But they,
I understand
it's-
if they want like a younger Deathstroke, because Manu Bennett did
Yeah.
play an older one in the
Right.
in the show.
but I mean, he did such a killer.
Killer
You
job.
believed- yeah. You believed he was Deathstroke. It was a very believable role.
Yeah.
So, and that's
So-
going to be their big thing. They have to cast people that we go, okay, I believe that person could play him or her. So
So speaking of,
Also,
go ahead.
yeah, go for
Sorry.
it, Tyler, because I think you were about
Oh.
to say what I was gonna say.
actually, maybe not. Do any of you watch Vikings on History Channel?
No,
That wasn't. I watched like the
Okay.
first
Tommy
season.
does.
Well, you should. Also, they dropped the season 3 trailer, and it's
Really?
premiering. Yeah, this new season is premiering Thursday, February 19th at 10. And it looks like they're going to England and then apparently to Paris, based off the trailer. I don't know how that's gonna work.
They did.
But
The
I'm
Vikings did go to England quite a bit, down in
Yeah,
South England.
they
Wayne knows all about that.
Slight spoilers.
Oh,
They did go to England.
Everything England's mate.
It's
they
all
did go to
I
Vikings.
feel,
England,
I feel like we're really
last season.
stereotyping him.
Oh, I do that with every British person.
Okay.
It's fine. They,
I can
That's-
take it. It's okay.
no.
They're used to it, I'm pretty sure.
Wayne's just like, you all aren't as fat as I imagined you.
Steven has a neck. What is wrong with that? He sounds like a big guy.
Well, what I thought you were gonna.
Actually real?
Yeah, man. What I thought you were going to say, Steven, just since we were talking about DC casting, is that Carl Urban is rumored for the
Ah.
Aquaman movie.
Yeah.
People are thinking he's going to play the villain, but some were just like, I don't know, he could play Aquaman's brother. But I don't think he looks enough like Jason Momoa to play a brother.
No.
So
Yeah.
I would say he might be the villain.
I think
Twice.
he would do a good job as a villain.
Judge Dredd versus Aquaman.
I
So-
don't even want to attempt a Judge Dredd impression right now.
I am the law. All right, so
Guilty.
I watched. Speaking of trailers, Tyler, I watched the Dead Rising Watchtower trailer, and for anyone who's not in the video games, Dead Rising was a popular video game. Like I think at the start of like the Xbox era. I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
Yeah.
My first thought was, is this video game like popular enough to have like
Have a
gotten a
movie?
movie? But I don't know.
Halo hasn't even gotten a movie.
right.
Not, well, they kinda have.
Forward into Dawn doesn't count.
And Dead Rising
There was-
3 got bad reviews, I think so.
Right.
There are
Alright.
just some things that will forever remain in movie limbo.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Well, like watching it, it just seemed like a crappier version of Shaun of the Dead.
Which that was pretty crappy to begin with.
Oh,
I mean,
Shaun of the Dead's
It was
brilliant.
good. It was good.
Yeah,
Man.
it was like that. It was like a B
Like,
movie,
nah.
but it was good.
No, but I mean, it was like if you put the characters of Shaun of the Dead or trying to pull off that humor in the Walking Dead universe, that's what that movie looked
Yeah.
like. Because it looked like it's trying to remain like kind of gritty and gory, but like they've got who's the guy
As
that
long as
plays like
Machete
the douchebag?
isn't in it, I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, it's like the guy who plays like on Modern Family, the guy who plays Phil's like rival at the realty company, like that douchebag guy. Like he was like in the trailer trying to be funny, and I was just like, it just leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth. Speaking
Yeah.
of Walking Dead, the spin-off has a working title now called Cobalt.
Cobalt.
Cobalt. Doo-doo. Robots in disguise. Yeah,
Zombie robots.
that's the lead in that. In Cobalt's going to be the wife from Gone Girl, and she was actually really good in Gone Girl. She was creepy as hell, but yeah, she's going to play some kind of like teacher or a nurse or something like mundane like that.
Mundane.
Sorry, teachers and nurses, I did
Yeah.
not mean it.
Thanks, Everett.
Just
So,
offended everybody tonight. God.
so does anyone know how to pronounce the girl who got cast as Supergirl's last name? Because I don't want to talk about it unless I know.
Shaka Khan.
It's like Melissa. I don't know if it's French, so it
McCarthy.
could be Melissa
Melissa McCarthy.
Benoist
Yeah.
or Benoist. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Benoist. If it's a French name, if it's like Benoist, then I don't know. But yeah, we got Supergirl Kara Zor-El cast this week, so that's something. And the last,
Pretty good.
yeah, she looks like she'll be the part if she dyes her hair blonde. Everyone, like
Right.
the only bit of criticism about that casting was, I hope she dyes her hair blonde, like, and she'll be perfect.
Right.
Which they might do, like she's a brunette detective, but when she turns into Supergirl, she's blonde. I don't know, something like that.
Well, it would be a better disguise.
It would be, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know this is something that some of you guys are really excited about, and some of you
Yes.
guys are wondering about, but the Red Hood is coming to Gotham.
Yeah, that's we kind of talked about that between ourselves earlier. That I was confused because I don't have all the comic knowledge that a lot of you guys
Yeah.
have, but from what I understood, Red Hood, there's two different Red Hoods. One's Joker before he was Joker, kind of, and the other is Tim Drake, was that right?
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
Yeah.
As Red Hood. So, how are we going to have either of those two characters in Gotham when we don't have Batman? That's what I'm confused about, but
I feel
it'll be
like
interesting.
Jason Todd shouldn't really be even conceived yet.
Right.
no, I think they're trying to shoehorn in the Joker without being the Joker, maybe.
Yeah.
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 They've already
Kinda-
tried it with a couple of characters that they've put them in there as kids that you wouldn't expect them to be in that time frame yet.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they seem to have made that work. But
Yeah.
It'll be interesting for sure, and
Yeah.
it's either gonna go over really well or
Really bad.
it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't watch Gotham, but I get enough from it from you guys to sort of
Yeah.
understand what's going on.
I mean, yeah, like watch it religiously. Like I kind of just like have it on in the background and kind of like tune in at the most important moments of the show. But
Oh.
other than that, I'm a little curious as to how they're gonna do this too. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to have to actually see it.
Look, everybody, here's Bruce Wayne. Now let's go back to the show. Got. That's pretty much what they're doing.
Isn't that exactly how it works though? They show him for like
Yeah. Yeah, they're just like,
2 minutes.
here's Bruce Wayne. Here, now we're back to the show. So,
And now
everyone,
something
we're in the
completely
Batman
different.
universe, I swear. Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah.
His name's Bruce Wayne, in case you didn't hear that. Yeah. Gotham's an interesting show. I
They're
watched
just
the first
like,
couple episodes.
Batman. Man.
Right. Just
Yeah.
call him in already. Do it. Does
This
he
is-
even have any spears yet?
This is young Batman for our
Push
you
him in a
older
well.
audience who don't read comics.
Throw
they
him
just
in a mine shaft.
they just have Christian Bale show up and he's just like, "Hey guys."
At no point is Stephen condoning throwing any children in mine shafts.
But no. Just him on the show.
Just that one kid.
It'll make
Just
him
the
a better
one kid.
person.
You're just the one kid.
Right.
Not
It'll
much
build
of a
character. It'll build character, I swear.
You know why we fall
Years
down
ago-
mine shafts?
To get back up.
Baba.
It's better than I'm well, man.
Oh
You
man.
know, could have had
I like-
whales.
I prefer college humor as bad man. I'm Batman.
I'm He's trying
I'm
to find his voice.
Batman. Oh man.
What was that?
That's good stuff. So I think we've. Does anyone else have any more
I
news?
have a couple things that I wanted
for
to
it.
talk about real quick. I mentioned sports briefly in the intro, but
Sports.
to touch on sports, we have the Super Bowl coming up and two teams, the Seahawks and the Patriots. Now, you may not be fans and you may not care. The only reason I care is because Chris Evans, Captain America, is a Patriots fan, and Chris, oh God.
Oh man,
Chris
that makes me
Pratt.
hate
How
him
did
a
I
little
forget?
bit.
I hate myself right now. Pratt. At Pratt. Chris Pratt is a Seahawks fan, and they actually started almost a rivalry
Ooh,
on
nice.
Twitter earlier in the week, saying, who would win, whose team's going to win, and what they're going to do if the other person's team wins. And so if the Seahawks win, Chris Evans will be dressing up supposedly as Captain America, going to a Seattle Children's Hospital and waving the 12th man flag over his head
Nice.
while he's there. So that'll be interesting. Or we're going to get Star-Lord to go visit some Patriot fans, kids in hospoters. So
It sounds like a win-win.
it's a win. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all for charity, and it's a fun little rivalry. But other than me not being able to remember Chris Pratt's last name, all in all, it's fun. The other thing I wanted to talk about real
Well,
briefly.
I wanted to just throw in real quick. I want to just be like, Wayne, these Americans and their American football, right? Am I right? Us Europeans know what real football is.
A lot of
If you
people
like
over here,
football.
a lot of people over here have started getting into it a lot more, but I can honestly say not me.
Fantasy football.
I'm soccer.
Oh man.
Yeah, Wayne needs time to catch up with everybody. We've learned that in this podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like me. It takes a little bit to build, but.
All right, go for it, Steven.
So the last thing I want to talk about in our news portion this week is Microsoft just released, I guess, their first product demonstration trailer for the HoloLens. A lot of people heard about it. A lot of people saw the video. I'm almost certain it went viral the moment they posted it. Virtual reality without it being the Oculus Rift. I kind of said it's like Google Glass on steroids. They show some amazing features. If they'll all be implemented as flawlessly as they are in a trailer, that's to be determined. But it's got a lot of practical and impractical uses. Stuff for work or gaming. They show a guy playing Minecraft.
That looks amazing. Like
that would be really cool.
I'm
That-
excited.
that was
for
the-
Minecraft. That's it. That's all
Yeah.
I
I
got.
want to, as a cosplayer, I want to redo the scene from Iron Man where he's building a Iron Man suit and spinning it around. That's what I want it for.
I
But it looks
I
really
like
cool.
the bit when there was looking at like was it almost like Mars in
Yeah.
Oh,
space?
yeah.
Trying to plan everything on the floor. It's brilliant.
Yeah,
I liked how they were doing like the Mars rover stuff,
yeah. Walk
Excuse
over
me.
here and look at this spot.
and then they have this woman at work, and she's like, "Hold on," and she's like designing a motorcycle, and there's like another person doing like really technical stuff, and then there's just a guy playing Minecraft. He's like,
Right.
screw using this technology for good. I don't have a job. I'm just gonna blow my wall up.
That
I
would
have
be me.
enough money
That would
for
be me.
HoloLens, but I don't
Yeah,
have a
I'm
job.
pretty sure that will be 90% of the people with Wives crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
I get it, that's what I mean.
Well,
that's it.
If I
mean-
get it, I'm just gonna play Minecraft. Like I'll just go silent for weeks and just be playing Minecraft.
Well, I think what we're gonna do is once all 5 of us have a HoloLens, we're gonna like stand in a circular like room, and we're just gonna like be talking to each other as if we were in like person. But we're gonna filter it so that we're all light blue and kind of grainy, so it looks like we're talking to people on Star Wars. That's how
Yes.
we're gonna be.
No, we
That's
should do it
Yoda.
like
Yes.
Tron, so we're all wearing Tron outfits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
You should have been here. Yes, you should have been here last week.
Yeah,
Uh,
or the Winter Soldier, and we just have plates of glass.
Right.
and-
no, what we could do is every time we have a guest on the show, like Wayne,
Right.
you know, we could turn him into Zordon from Power Rangers, and we could all
Yeah,
just be standing in
exactly.
front, have him in the tube, and just kind of stand back.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
this
that.
would be good. This would be good.
Yeah. So in a few years, that's how you're going to be watching this podcast. We're just going to be
Right.
standing around you in your living room, making you very uncomfortable.
Because most of us don't wear pants. 'Cause you only see this much up, so it's gonna be really awkward.
I'm
and
actually
that-
wearing I'm wearing a child-sized
First podcast,
T-shirt.
that's 2 of my secrets out already.
I'm wearing a child-sized T-shirt. It just comes
A
up to my
onesie.
nipples. Yeah. But if I lift any more than this, you're going to start seeing skin. Oh man, where's this podcast going?
Oh, nowhere fast.
So speaking of nowhere, Steven, tell our listeners what the main topic is this week.
Oh, well, our main topic this week is our geeky origin stories. We're going to be talking about the movies, TV shows, and things that we experienced or went through in our lives that made us into these wonderful geeks that we are today. And you're going to hear a lot of cool stories and be able to go, hey, I watched that too, or you'll have something that you'll relate to in this. So it's going to be fun. So get ready, because we're going to talk a lot about a lot of stuff.
So just to make you very uncomfortable, Wayne, now that since you're our guest, I'm going to let you
You
go
get to go
first.
first.
Yeah. So Wayne, what shows did you watch growing up that kind of turned you into the geek that you are today?
We haven't got enough time to cover all of them, so
Yeah. So give us the highlights.
basically most of them involve the word star. That's the clue.
Okay. So let's
film-wise.
think. Star Wars,
Trek.
right?
What?
Star Trek,
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars.
On Stars.
Dancing with the Stars.
On
Stars.
That's close. No,
Go for it.
Star Trek was a major one even before I had the chance to choose my own shows, because I used to sit with my dad
Oh, there you go.
and we'd watch the original when I was very young, and then I'm obviously when I'm sort of watching my own things, it was into the next generation.
Okay, Wayne, stop right there just for a second, because if anyone has heard the last Capes Crew podcast, Geeks with Wives and Capes,
Oh,
they had a
yeah.
guest on who, him and Piper got into it. The guest was saying that Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek, and Piper was saying the Next Generation's the best Star Trek. What are you saying, Wayne? Are you saying
Well,
Next
it's definitely
Gen?
not Deep Space Nine.
Oh, come on.
It was good. It was okay, but it wasn't as good.
Okay, so
I
are you,
think
are you in
Next
what?
Gen.
Next Gen? You like that
Yeah.
better than the original?
I think probably because it was a chance to do it myself, get into it myself. So
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of like grew up with that, and it was on for
Okay.
something like 7 or 8 years. So it was a long part of my youth. So I kind of lean towards that more.
All right. Well, there you go. Wayne is in Piper camp.
The Piper Camp. There you go. The Pied Piper.
You just scored
Gotcha.
some points with her, I'm sure, because she's been talking about Next Gen being the best all day. So yeah, continue.
That's it. Send me a message, I'll back her up.
Yeah. So what else? What else that has star in it?
Stargate was another one.
Stargate. Okay.
Stargate.
How did
Did
we
you-
It's originally from the film.
The film
And
of
then-
Kurt Russell. Yeah.
Yeah. And then from the film, obviously, they decided to make the series with Richard Dean Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
who I was already a fan of because I liked him from the 80s, back in MacGyver days, which was another program from my youth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was MacGyver, wasn't he?
Yes, the
Holy
MacGyver.
crap! I didn't even make that connection till now. Huh. I never watched the show just because I liked Kurt Russell so much in that film, and I was just
Yeah,
like, how can all the actors stay the same except for Kurt Russell?
well,
So
I just enjoyed it. It's something that captured my imagination. The fact that you could go through a wormhole to another part of the universe
oh
was
yeah,
like, whoa,
that was
immense. So
that used to be like the coolest like animation or graphic when they would go through there and it would be like stars and it would keep moving fast and then it would just be like that weird tunnel that was like swirling and crap. Yeah, that was
yeah, and then the very first time you do it, you get there and then you throw up, which is the not so nice part.
Everyone, they all throw up. Always. Anytime you
Yeah.
travel through space, it involves vomiting.
I think yeah. My sister's was real big into Stargate, I think, for a while, and she tried to get me to watch it, and I got through maybe the first season, and I haven't gotten too far. I know in Sweden here they love to show Stargate on TV, just like daytime. You've got like soap opera, soap opera, soap opera, Stargate.
Stargate.
So
You've got to break up the soap opera somehow.
yeah,
Yeah, there's too many
nothing
of them.
better, nothing better than Stargate. Is there anything else you
But
wanted
no,
to
it was
mention?
fun.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention? Any other shows? Or
Right. I suppose if you was going into like, I could just mention cartoons briefly or programs. I mean, we got stuff like Knight Rider, Airwolf.
Airwolf?
You
Yeah,
probably noticed a theme. It's either there's a very big sciencey sort of like hero-based scenarios in nearly everything I watched.
yeah, that's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Tommy, we will move on to you because I know you're really excited about this topic.
Yeah. I mean, as if my shirt wasn't enough of a, giveaway of what turned me into the nerd I am, it was Power Rangers.
Okay, I was about to say that's a Beetleborg shirt, right?
Beetleborg!
Oh, Beetleborgs. Oh man. I will
Beetleborg.
I will say this.
Elvis Ghost.
I own a couple of the VHS tapes of Beetleborgs and I watched them as a kid.
It's on
But-
Netflix.
Big bad
Beetleborg.
Beetleborgs.
It was
got-
so bad.
You got Elvis slash Jay Leno, the clown, as Alpha 5.
Yeah, it was
Right.
horrible.
Oh man, I love Beetleborgs. I had like,
A
and then they did
mummy,
like
a
they did like
werewolf.
Beetleborgs Metallic or whatever the hell, where they changed their colors to gold and black and purple.
It was
Yeah.
so bad, but
So
yeah,
yeah,
for me it was
Talk about
know,
Power
I-
Rangers.
Yeah.
yeah, man, like I don't even remember how I first I don't even came across the show. I do not remember, but I just remember the moment that I put the VHS tape in. That opening scene, man, the theme song, everything. I was starstruck from that moment, and I never missed an episode. Anything Power Rangers I had to get my hands on, I had to buy it. And for the longest time, I was the Red Ranger fan.
Okay, I thought you would
Which
say
Red
Bulk and
Ranger?
Skull.
No, but that was until they introduced the best one of all time, Tommy. As soon as Tommy showed up, it was just game on.
Jason David Frank.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Team
to this
Safety.
day, he's honestly still my favorite Ranger.
Well, he's the most
that's-
popular. I think he's
Oh, yeah.
everyone's.
He does the most social
Yeah.
media wise, and like you said earlier,
Yeah.
Bat in the Sun.
Yeah.
He's put a very much
He-
spotlight on the franchise
Yeah,
for a long
yeah.
time.
Sitting right here beside me, I have the green and white Ranger.
Saban.
Yeah. That's that was pretty much my entire childhood. I still have all my original toys that I had back in the day. They're over here, all displayed. Well, some of them are. Some of them are in a box.
Some
but yeah,
are
they're all.
framed,
Well,
others
Nice.
are mint condition.
I wish. I do have one that's unopened, but it's not from Mighty Morphin, so I'm not going to go into that. But other than Power Rangers for me, the only other two shows that really kind of shaped me into the nerd I am, Batman the animated series.
There you go. Can't
I
argue
just
with
remember-
that.
I just remember being a kid, turning on my cable, like as soon as we got it, trying to find cartoons, and I just saw that opening for Batman, and that was the first time that like I'd seen the cartoon, and just that started a lifelong obsession with Batman. It's on the same level as Power Rangers for me.
There you go.
That cartoon's like so special today. Like
Yeah.
I think it was on the list of shows that got canceled that we didn't talk about last week. Because
Really?
I think technically it got canceled, but it's so popular like nowadays because all the stuff that's coming out nowadays sucks so bad compared to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And
Like
for what they made when they made it, it's incredible.
Well,
Yeah.
it's one of those cartoons, those superhero cartoons that's dark and it's gritty and they don't cater to the children. Like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just it gave you Batman as he is in the comics and
Yeah.
Instead of Brave and the Bold.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then-
Tyler might be taking offense to all this right now, but
Yeah.
No, no.
But like, I do have
I
one
mean-
other show that kind of shaped me, and I'm just gonna mention it real quick because it was a really short-lived series. But the only like I watched it with my dad. That was like mine and my dad's show to watch together. That's the only reason I'm gonna bring it up is just because I have good memories of sitting around with my dad and watching it. And that was the Mortal Kombat cartoon.
oh wow, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
I think it only ran for 11 episodes, maybe 11, and it got canned. But we never missed an episode. That was like our time just to sit down and just nerd out.
Nice.
It's hard to show a babality on TV and it not get canceled. Babality.
Is that a real thing?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, in the games
Oh,
you can
come
actually
on, man.
in
Why don't you know that?
you can actually turn your characters into their former infant self, and they don't really die when you do that. They kind of just
Like cry or
You mean
build it-
Kano doesn't just rip Sonya Blade's heart out at one episode?
no.
really
you were like, Daddy, what did he just do to her? Oh, he just gave her some spaghetti. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Tommy. I had no clue there was a Mortal Kombat cartoon.
Look it up.
The
Look it up.
more you know.
So I want to move to our Lord of Cartoons himself, Tyler. I call you that because you watch more cartoons than I think all of us combined, apparently.
Pretty,
I mean,
yeah.
probably.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's
You
You're
add the
special
diversity.
like that. You're special like that. It's okay.
Thank you. The cartoon. There's only really one. In the Shining, in the super darkness that was the early 2000s in cartoons. There was only one shining light, and that was Avatar: The Last Airbender. I
Yes.
think that Wayne, England had the Legend of Aang. It was just called differently. But it grabbed me. The first episode, I must have been 9 at the time, and just the
Okay.
first episode just grabbed me and it hooked me, and it was perfect. It was
Awesome.
perfect for me. I loved the world building, and well, looking back on it now, I love the world building in that. I love the integration of all the elements, and the
you-
bending styles and everything.
and you
It
love
was a
M.
very
Night
cool
Shyamalan.
show. Right.
Oh yes.
Did you
that-
go out
that-
I had
tattoo
to.
after that movie?
Yeah. Did you get?
Oh
Is the tattoo under your hair somewhere? Like, do you have it covered up with makeup or something? Like,
yes. Yes.
He's got the bald
the
cap
arrow.
that he puts on. Yeah.
there we go. Yeah.
So I assume you're a fan of
Um,
Legend of Korra too, then, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I
Yeah.
am. I love that. I love it so much. I loved it because it ended. But
Just recently,
I
yeah.
haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, and it ended with I don't want to. I can't spoil things.
Yeah, don't spoil that one because I think I've got a
Okay.
friend I know that's still on. I think England hasn't caught up on they haven't concluded it there yet, and he's watching
England
it.
is
So
behind on everything, don't
Well,
Yeah.
actually, the thing about Legend of Korra that Nick messed up on was they put they aired half season 3 on TV and then put the rest up
right,
online like weekly, and they just put all of season 4 up digitally,
yeah,
um
I heard that.
which
Yeah.
Huh.
but yeah, Avatar. If you haven't seen it, it's a great series. It's not on Netflix, which is a true crime against humanity.
Absolutely.
Um,
I would
Yeah.
watch
It's
it. I
I
would
would
watch it
too.
all the
also,
way
there are
through.
comics. There are
Oh, there you go.
comics, and the
Nice.
comics are very good. Um,
Nice.
Art style's the same as the show.
it's a little different, but I mean it still has its roots.
Yeah.
It's by Gene Lewin Yang. I'm also probably butchering that name, but their comics are really good, but they take place after the main series. So,
Nice. Awesome. Is there anything else from your childhood that gives you warm, fuzzy feelings?
other than trying to avoid the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy, not really.
Nice.
I loved that cartoon.
Jamaican Death.
I just remember the little. Didn't is that the one that had like the little blue blob that was a character?
No,
No.
that
No.
House of Imaginary Friends.
That's
Friends,
what I'm thinking
that
of.
was
Okay.
yeah.
That, okay,
Those
that yeah,
are-
that was actually pretty good. I like that one.
All right.
There's,
Well,
there's so much I've forgotten.
oh yeah, I know. Yeah, it's all those old Nick shows. I know, like Piper was talking about Powerpuff Girls. Like I watched that. Mojo
Right.
Jojo.
Mojo Jojo.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, moving on. We're gonna move
Oh,
to Steven. Steven,
Oh.
what turned you into this physical embodiment of?
All that is man.
I was gonna say all that is geek.
Almost the same.
Yeah.
I have really, Tommy talked about it. One of his favorite things was him watching a show with his father. I have a lot to thank for who I am because of my father and my grandfather. I remember after church on Sundays, my grandfather had tapes of 66 Batman, and we'd watch Adam West,
Nice.
and that was, I was very young, and it was not a good show, really, but it was
Oh, don't
fun
say that.
because
You're gonna have Chris and Corey on
it,
your ass.
it is a good show, but for me I wasn't watching it because it was Batman. I was watching
Right.
it because I was with my grandpa,
Gotcha.
and that is what made the show fun. It wasn't anything. Everything was over my head. I was so small. I didn't
Right.
understand he was running with a bomb. I was just with my grandpa. So that was cool. But my dad, he really imparted a lot of knowledge and a lot of what he loves into who I am. He's a magician, and he's been doing magic professionally, traveling around the country since I was born. And so, I've grown up into a family of entertainers. I've traveled with them. I've been in tricks. I've done shows. I've been doing magic for about 11 years.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun for me, but that he really rubs off on me. And two of his favorite movies that he loves are my two favorite movies. And it's Back to the Future, the whole trilogy. In my opinion, it's one of the best trilogies ever made. Uh, they flow so well. Uh, the cast is great, and it's one of my favorite things. I have a
Uh-oh.
hoverboard. Uh, it's 2015, so it's okay to
Yeah.
have this now.
You mean on New Year's Eve, like when the clock told
I
12?
was wearing my Marty McFly cosplay.
But did your hoverboard just automatically start working then?
We're below sea level, so it doesn't
Oh,
work over
okay.
water.
Okay, that's obviously why.
Yeah. So Back to the Future, that was a big thing for me. I don't really remember watching a lot of cartoons. I vaguely remember Doug and Magic School Bus, but
I wish I could
Magic
remember the Doug
School
theme
Bus.
song.
Magic
Oh,
School Bus
man.
is awesome. Doug is, yeah, I don't want to talk about Doug.
To mention Magic School Bus real quick, like it's really awkward when you watch Magic School Bus and then you watch Captain Planet and see that
Yeah.
they're the same kids.
Right, yeah, they're older. The older when they got out of elementary school.
Those kids were
Yeah.
super powered, man. Seriously.
The other movie that really impacted me, and one of my favorite actors, is Jim Carrey and The Mask. Everything in that movie, and I watch it now, and I catch some things that I didn't catch the first times I watched it. It was
Yep.
always a funny movie, but I thought it's more fun and more enjoyable now. The
Steven,
original, not the.
are you really going to mention The Mask and not show your actual
Well,
mask?
I love the movie so much I made the Loki mask.
Don't put it on. Don't put it
Nah,
on.
I know it's nighttime for me. It would end badly. But that character, that's who I wanted to be. He was somebody that was outgoing, and who he was his power. And I know that I'm not going to be bitten by a radioactive spider or anything like that. But who I am,
Despite how hard you may try.
right?
Right.
Yeah, I've dumped radiation on spiders like there's no tomorrow.
And he's like, bite me!
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that really shaped me into who I am, because that made me, with the whole being a magician, it made me outgoing, and it made me know that if I can make someone else laugh, then I'm gonna have people that are on my side, and that'll be friendly. People are always more fun whenever they're having a good time. So that my dad is really to blame for who I am, but I appreciate it more than anything else. So
There you go. Yeah, thanks for that, Steven. That was
ain't no problem. So what
very
about you,
touching.
Everett? What has made you into this fine specimen?
of geekdom. Pretty much, I think I'm in that era, which I'm not sure if it's still the same nowadays with kids, but Saturday morning cartoons were the bomb when I was growing up. You had Fox. It was like the one thing Fox did
Everett,
good.
I'm gonna sadden you by saying this, but there are no more Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that's right.
horrible.
There was a big thing online that like now all of the channels that were airing Saturday morning cartoons are now airing more educational.
What the hell's wrong
Uh,
with them, man?
Cartoons are still on, but they're on pretty much like prime
pay-
time, about 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seven
but
There's
p.m.
programs over here now.
That sucks, man, because like I have always been I've never been the early bird. I've always been the night owl. Like I don't get up early. I still don't get up early, and it's probably a problem. But on Saturday mornings, the one day that everyone else in the family slept in, I got up at like 7 a.m. You go out there, you watch like DuckTales, Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing
Darkwing Duck.
You got Gargoyles that would come on real
Nice.
early.
Gargoyles
Um,
came on right before Batman. I do remember that much. I
and
do
then
remember
Batman,
that.
yeah. And one of my, I think the show that turned me into like the comic book geek that I am nowadays was Spider-Man the animated series.
Yeah.
The 90s that had, what's his name? Christopher something.
Christopher
Oh.
Reeves.
No, it's Christopher Daniel Barnes as the voice of
Christopher.
Spider-Man. Oh god. Don't ruin this for me.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But
Back to
but yeah, Christopher Daniel Barnes as Spider-Man, and it was a cartoon that didn't cater to the kids. It didn't have like the humor. It had very adult humor. If you watch it nowadays, like some of the jokes Peter would make with his Aunt May are like so that Aunt May would find funny, not like the kids. And it's just, I don't know, that show, it had like 5 seasons, which are a lot of them are on Netflix, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I'll still go back and I'll watch like the Venom episodes, and it's hard to watch like that 5 frames per second like animation nowadays, but I mean it was so good. It's just one of those things where
It's timeless.
it's
Really,
timeless.
yeah. And I think that's what we've kind of figured out. A lot of the stuff that's made us geeks are just stuff that will forever be timeless. Despite your age, those things are always going to be around, and it's
Yeah.
always going to make new geeks.
And another thing, it's kind of similar that would come on either before or after, I can't remember anymore, that I know a lot of people in our Geeks with Wives groups wanted to mention as well,
Mighty Ducks.
was, no, Mighty Ducks could be one of them, but it's not what I was going to mention, was, man,
Yeah, you
You
forgot.
guys are.
no, what? What was that, Tyler?
You went dark for a second.
Oh,
Couldn't hear anything.
okay. Well, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, good.
So I was gonna mention the '90s X-Men. I was gonna do the
Oh,
theme
yeah.
song, but I think I'm too tired for that right now. I've done too many theme songs. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, the '90s X-Men cartoon again. It was a little more humorous than like the other, like Batman and Spider-Man. It's kind of on the same wave as Spider-Man, but man, that show was awesome. And I think there was even a few episodes where they had Christopher Daniel Barnes as Spider-Man in that.
Spider-Man in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember like Wolverine and Beast like running at like attacking him, and he's like, whoa, whoa, and they kind of did like the Secret Wars.
To me, my X-Men.
Yeah, I mean that whole show. I mean it bred like just a billion X-Men fans.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean seriously, that show was
Yeah.
is
It was my first foray into the X-Men, that was.
yeah,
That's
and
cool.
I think it was the same
Yep.
with everyone. And I mean I remember buying like the Sega Genesis X-Men games and
I actually had the Super Nintendo X-Men game. Still have
Yeah.
it to this day, and I still play it.
and
I
they
have
made like
the Super Nintendo Spider-Man game that I still love.
hmm Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean they even made like a Spider-Man in the X-Men game as well that I probably rented from the movie stores like a million times.
Blockbuster.
My parents were probably like, "Haven't you already played this game before? Like, come on." But yeah, I mean it was those shows are incredible. Tommy kind of touched on the Power Rangers. I was a massive Power Rangers fan up until maybe Turbo. I think after the Turbo
Yeah.
movie, I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of done. I loved Zeo, where Tommy
Zeo.
was the Red Ranger, the Red Zeo Ranger, and he led the team, and it had like half the old Rangers and half new Rangers, and
Right.
Yeah.
then they
I don't I don't mean to cut you off, Everett, but like I don't remember if it was I believe it was during Zeo. Jason David Frank's brother actually was in
Mhm.
that
yeah.
for for a real quick minute. That was actually pretty cool when I found that out. I didn't find that out till years later though.
Yeah, so Zeo, I think Turbo, I think they did like not Ninja Force because that's the newer one, but they did like a
Yeah.
ninja thing. Because in the movie, the original
Ninja
Power
Storm?
Rangers movie, they became ninjas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Ninja
It
Rangers.
was
They had
It was
the power
Ninjetti.
coins.
Ninjetti.
Ninjetti.
It was Ninjetti. And then the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, I think, were one of my favorite as well because that's when they went to like Aquatar, like yeah, they had like the fish guys, like the Power Rangers lost their powers for like half that season, and they
Yeah.
had the the Alien Rangers come in and take their place, and they got their powers back, and it was just incredible. And then I think they did Power Rangers in Space. I think actually it was the last
Yes.
one I watched because that was the one that had like the Silver Ranger and
Yep.
the Black Ranger that brought Jason back as like, or no, it was the Gold Ranger. No, Gold
Yep.
Ranger was in Zeo.
Zeo.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the original
Yeah.
Austin St. John?
Austin
Played the
St.
Gold
John.
Ranger in Zeo, who was original Red Ranger for Mighty
Yeah,
Morphin.
and they did like a real quick. They almost did the Green Ranger thing again, where like he was a mystery for like half the season, and then they finally revealed it was him.
Right.
After they fought, of course. So that show was just incredible, and
Yeah.
Um,
I actually got to meet the kid that played, I believe, I can't remember the younger kid in Turbo. I can't.
It
remember
was
his name.
Blake.
Yeah, it was Blake Foster. I just can't remember the
Foster.
character's name. Yeah, I
Mhm.
can't remember but yeah, I actually got to meet him. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm friends with him on Facebook. He's a really nice guy. I've worked with him, made him a prop before. He's nice.
yeah, we've actually got an interview with him from our ZapCon videos, I think,
Yeah.
Geeks with Wives YouTube, so go check that out. We got
in its
Will.
own
Will
playlist.
interviewed him. Yeah,
I know what I'm doing.
yeah. Will Elzato from the Capes podcast. He interviewed him, and it was a cool interview. Another thing I just kind of wanted to touch on when we're talking about Power Rangers, I want to kind of mention that I also loved the Mystic Knights of Tir Nanog.
That sounds familiar,
Anyone?
but I can't. It sounds familiar. Like I know I've seen it, but I can't remember anything.
Oh man, it's a shame that none of y'all don't really know what I'm talking about. It was Power Rangers set in a medieval world, and it was basically, I think it was like filmed in England, but they were all American actors. I think they were American. I
I've
don't know.
seen that.
They could have
Like
been British.
it's starting to come back to me now that you mentioned it. Like it's
It-
real. Like I'm starting to get flashbacks.
But man, their transformations, they turned into knights, and those toys and stuff were so awesome, and I freaking loved it. And it was, it was a Power Rangers clone, of course, and then they had VR Troopers. That
Yep.
was like the original.
Right. Yeah.
Superhuman Samurai was like kind of like the Megazord before the Megazord existed.
And there was Cybertron.
Cybertron.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had so many Power Rangers clones, and I loved them all. Like when I was a kid, I wasn't like, oh, this one's better than the other. I was just like, oh, this is like more of what I love, So
Exactly. That's why I watched Beetleborgs, even though it was
yeah,
horrible.
Beetleborgs
Right.
was one of my
Or
favorites.
like watching Beast Wars.
I was just about to mention
Yes.
Beast Wars.
Man,
Yeah,
I love that show, and I don't know why, but like the Jaguar, the cheetah, that was my favorite character. and
Cheetor.
I have his toy still, and it's like
Yeah.
this big. Yeah, I don't even know
Optimus-
why. but
Optimus
it's awesome.
Primus, or Optimus Primal was his name. Yeah, he's a freaking
It just-
gorilla.
Yeah,
That's what Michael Bay needs to ruin next is Beast Wars, man. I'm telling you. He's probably
He tried
thinking
to.
about it. Yeah, he's thinking about it right now.
If he does that, I'm totally gonna blame you. It's
The
gonna be your fault.
The last show that I'm going to mention, because we're running low on time, I think, is my first foray into anime, which I didn't realize it was anime until much, much later, but a show called Ronin Warriors. Anyone?
Never
that
heard.
sounds familiar too.
Oh, man.
Never.
Ronin Warriors. Everyone needs to go and watch that show. It was basically... It was just about these really freaking cool samurais that had to stop. It was basically, I don't know, like the main bad guy from what I can remember was kind of like, kind of
Shredder.
yeah, it was kind of like a Shredder or like what's his name from Nutaru or whatever the hell it's called, Naruto, Orochi, was that his name? I don't know. It was a typical anime, but it was kind of like Power Rangers. They turned into these samurais whenever they called upon the power, and one of them had a bow, one had a spear, one had like a double-sworded blade, and oh man, that show just was really incredible, and I recommend it still to this day. It's from 1988.
I'm gonna have to hunt it down. It actually sounds like it's kind of cool.
Yeah, Ronin Warriors, it's incredible. I really enjoyed that show, and it got me into all the other animes like Gundam Wing and Dragon Ball Z and stuff when I was a little bit older. But man, that stuff really really touched me. So yeah, I think if there's no other shows anyone wants to mention,
I think you forgot one that I felt like was
right.
like it, Voltron.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say, but yeah,
Oh.
Voltron's another good one. I don't think we can end this show without mentioning Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, we can't.
Yeah, the movie and the cartoon.
Right. Or the time that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles teamed up with the Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
With the
Yeah.
Power Rangers,
Yep.
yes.
2 episodes.
Oh,
How
man.
fantastic is that?
I need to go back and watch that. Holy crap. That
Yeah, it's
is
worth it.
incredible.
I actually have that on my shelf right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As much as I enjoyed the new one, just because I thought it was a good movie. Those were incredible for me because they were physical things. They were, you see a Power Ranger and there's a person and that's a person. But then you
Mhm.
see a giant turtle doing flips and kicking a guy in the face and riding a motorcycle and swinging nunchucks. That was a real guy. That was real life. You know, it's not CGI. They didn't have that, and for me, that made that just amazing. I
Don't
still love the original the Jim Henson Ninja Turtles.
don't
Those,
forget the timeless classic. Ha ha ha! I made a funny.
Yes.
Master Splinter.
I actually own all 3 of the like original TMNT movies on Blu-ray.
Oh
Yeah,
man, they're
yeah,
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That third
I
one is a
love-
little out there, but man, when the second one, Secret of the Ooze, when Shredder takes that ooze and becomes Super Shredder, holy crap, man, that was
and
the
let's
best
not
part.
forget Vanilla Ice and the
Yes.
Ninja.
Oh.
How could we forget that?
Ninja, ninja.
Rap.
Good
Go
Yes.
stuff.
Ninja, go Ninja, go. Yeah, so I think that's a great way to end.
Kino,
Me
man.
butchering
We end on Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla
there we
Ice.
go.
Well, I was
Yeah.
gonna talk just about Kino, the
Oh, go
pizza
ahead,
pizza
yeah.
delivery guy. I mean, Kino, I mean,
Yeah.
classic. But yeah, the cartoon was really one of my favorites as well. And a cool thing that I know that Corey wanted us to mention was that on Super Bowl Sunday, for the first time in the new Ninja Turtles cartoon, they're gonna have Bebop and Rocksteady. They're coming back.
There you
I remember
go.
those guys.
Yeah, and
fantastic.
they were the best bad guys. So I just wish that they would add like Toka and Razor as well, and just have all 4.
Right, all in one episode. Just bah.
And a Ninja Turtles clone that I also really freaking loved was Street Sharks. So yeah, if you
Yes. Okay. Yes. I actually still. Oh, I cannot believe I forgot that. And there's. I have 2 more to mention because you
You've
just triggered
created
it.
a monster.
I
No,
know.
you triggered it. I'm not gonna go in, but it came
Like-
on. Biker Mice from Mars.
I must
Oh,
have
no.
missed
Wayne
that
knows.
one.
Yes.
I need to
That-
watch
I can
that one.
remember that one. Just
That-
just about.
And then there was a movie, and it was god awful, but it's still one of my childhood favorites, the Double Dragon movie.
Oh yeah. So
Yep.
I'm looking up biker mice from Mars. I don't recognize
Oh,
them.
No, I don't want to look that up.
dude,
Oh, it
it's
was awesome.
it's so good.
Their ears are massive.
It's so good. So
All right.
good.
Well, now we're coming to that part of the show where we're gonna go through everyone and just talk about our final thoughts. We can mention our Twitters. We can mention what we're doing on Geeks with Wives. We can just mention a show or a movie that everyone should go see. Whatever you want to fill your little 15, 30 seconds, maybe a minute if you're lucky of time. So we will start with you, Steven. What's going on?
Oh well, I'm just working on stuff for the YouTube channel, getting some videos scheduled and making sure that when you see them on YouTube, you can also find them on the website geekswithwives.com. If you go under the, I believe it's the games portion
Mm-hmm.
on the site, there is a drop-down menu. It says YouTube, pretty self-explanatory. Click on it and you'll see a backlog of all of our different videos, like our playthroughs and stuff like that. Coming tomorrow, we're going to have, like I mentioned, the Marvel Heroes, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun with that series so far, and other than that, I've been helping Everett set up Gary's Mod, and we're going to be doing a special podcast, not a stream,
Stream.
a stream on Twitch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Casey's Sunday Fun Day that he wants to
Sunday
make it.
Fun Day with the bad boy of comics himself.
Yeah.
So if you're not following us on Twitch, definitely go and do that. Because Sunday we're going to try and get 4 or 5 of us together and play Gary's Mod and kill each other and scream and do terrible impressions. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. Follow all of us on Twitter and everything. And subscribe to the channel because your support's what helps us the most.
Yeah, and if anyone's listening to this in the future and it's past, because Sunday is tomorrow for me and Wayne, We'll probably upload the videos on YouTube as well, so make sure you check there for those. Just look up Gary's Mod on the YouTube, and it should be there by then, unless something horribly goes wrong. So yeah, Wayne, as our guest, what's your final thoughts this week?
I'm just going to be trying to catch up with lots of series. I really want to see what happens in Arrow and Flash, because the way they've just done the characters in that is beyond awesome. I'm with Steve, and I think they should have used them in the films.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah.
and film-wise, definitely Age of Ultron,
Yeah.
definitely, and Force Awakens end of the year. So
It's
Yeah.
gonna be
those
a
are gonna
good year.
watched. Yeah, definitely.
And
That's me.
where can people find you if they want to talk to you, Wayne?
On the chance they actually want to talk to me, I'm on Twitter. It's Wayne Hughes BFG, and I'm on that. And if anybody wants to follow me, feel free. And sometimes I even put interesting things up when I get the time.
Awesome. Thank you, Wayne. So,
Thank
Tommy,
you.
what is your final thoughts?
Man, my final thoughts. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna attempt to finally finish Sons of Anarchy this week.
There you go.
I kind of took a hiatus from season 5, and then I'm gonna get caught up. I just had a Power Rangers article go up on Geeks with Wives yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And other than that, I mean, you can just follow me on Twitter. At it simply T. I'm pretty much always on there, even if I'm not, talking. I always have it up. I'm always down to talk, or movies, video games, music, whatever. So yeah, just hit me up.
Awesome. Thank you, Tommy. Last but not least, Tyler. Tyler, what's your final thoughts this week?
I'm going to start Twin Peaks, so that'll be fun.
Oh, nice.
It can be how does Steven feel about Lost, and how does Tyler feel about Twin Peaks?
There you go.
Um,
I'm down for that.
Those people from the
But-
80s that are watching the show are going to be really excited that you're talking about that show.
My parents are gonna love this podcast even more now.
I review my review of The Wicked and the Divine. Issue 7 went up Wednesday. So come and check that out. And my Twitter is at Tyler Knows Stuff.
Did you hear that, everyone? Tyler has a Twitter now. Ding, 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 ding.
Yay! And it's
He only,
fantastic.
yeah, his first tweet. Because I forgot to introduce me as such.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Tyler,
that's right.
Tommy the Gore Whore.
Yep.
Yep.
Tommy, the gore whore.
Yeah, after
I'll
last
admit
week's podcast, we were
Yeah.
talking about horror movies, and Tommy just says, "Oh man, I'm such a gore whore," and Tyler, that was his first tweet. If you want to see it,
It,
It's-
it got quoted, favorited, retweeted.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's a gore whore.
Meryl Streep saw it.
Yeah. Meryl Streep was just like,
Yeah.
"That sounds really
Yeah.
kinky, Tommy."
I'll neither confirm or deny the allegations that are put before me.
Oh man, so
That's really it.
Awesome. Well, for me, you can find me at Twitter at Everett Gets It. I didn't do any reviews this week. I meant to do a few, and there was a billion comics that were really good. I think I just got overwhelmed because I loved every comic I wrote or I read this week. There was like 4 Spider-Verse comics, and that's such an incredible event.
It's,
Oh God, it's so good. It's the best event Marvel's done.
I'm so excited for Spider-Gwen
Yeah,
and Silk.
Spider-Gwen and Silk were incredible in Spider-Woman this week.
it just gets better with every new issue. Everything that's even tied in, like if it's just barely tied in, is awesome. Just
like I mentioned
this-
the animated series. Like if you're someone that is a huge fan of Spider-Man like I am, you need to be reading the Spider-Verse event because, I mean, I think that Spider-Man is in the comics. Like
Yeah.
This week or it might have been last week, but they actually brought in the Spider-Man from Marvel vs. Capcom for like a panel.
It was this week, yeah.
Yeah, it's this week, and freaking Moreland just jumps out and kills him. then it shows a kid on his computer like, what the hell? What just happened in my game? And it's just like
Also, in that issue, it showed one of the best new Spider-Man, I think, which is the Punk Spider-Man.
oh yeah, the Punk
Everyone
Spider-Man.
loves
that
him.
little thing.
Yeah, the Anarchy Spider-Man or whatever. And then Tommy, you'd probably, I don't know if you've been reading those, but last week they did like the Spider-Man Megazord like thing. It was an
Yeah.
actual Japanese show where Spider-Man called his giant robot to fight giant monsters.
I'm gonna have to start reading now.
Yeah, it's basically Spider Zord. I'll send you the link to the picture because it looks like the Megazord, but it's
It looks
Spider-Man.
like it looks like
Please do. I want
original
to.
Mighty
wanna see it.
Morphin Megazord.
I mean, it was like a Jaeger. Like it would show Spider-Man inside, like doing this stuff,
Oh
and
wow. That's,
when
oh.
it was incredible. And I think in the next 2099, they're gonna have that thing in it as well in a preview that they've shown.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, just to kind of embellish a little on the Twitch situation, we are playing Gary's Mod this Sunday. We'll be streaming on the Twitch, the Geeks with Wives Twitch, and it's kind of my attempt to bring more of the Geeks with Wives crew together. 'Cause
All
we've
in
got,
one go.
yeah, we've got the video games section and the comic section, and everyone kind of, there's a few people that mix and match, but for the most part, the video games guys, they just write and they talk amongst themselves, and the comics guys do the same. You got Mike and Piper who are kind of in between and stuff like that, and I kind of like there's some of those guys that I kind of want to get to know better, like Wayne. Wayne is a contributor for the video games and tech sections, so it's good to have him on here, and we're going to be trying to get more of the video games and comics guys on here as guests as well. I know Piper and Agasicles are really excited to get on this podcast and talk movies with us, so it's just one giant effort to bring Geeks with Wives into a whole, and so we're going to try doing that with some multiplayer games on Sunday Funday.
What time?
Oh crap, what time is it? I think it's
Is it 12?
It's either 12 or 1, depending on when we feel like starting, but
Show up at 12 and maybe we'll be there.
yeah, I wouldn't say that. But yeah, either 12 or 1 p.m. Pacific time, we'll be, enjoying some games. Hopefully it'll all work out. We're going to play some Murder, which is a game where it's going to be me, Stephen, Casey, and Jeremy from what I can tell in a house. One of us has a knife, a hidden knife.
And one of us has a gun.
And one of us has a hidden gun, and
Everyone else has got nothing.
everyone else is just a straggler, and the murderer is trying to murder everyone before the guy with the gun finds him and shoots him.
It's gonna be fun. You're gonna see us dressed as all kind of different characters. I'll be hopefully Gandalf doing a
Yep.
Magneto impression.
We're gonna
It'll
do
be
Gandalf versus Dumbledore for sure, and
It's gonna be fun for
we've got people like Morgan Freeman and George W. Bush and Obama in there that we're gonna be dressing up as. So yeah, so that's
definitely follow us on Twitch, because we have someone streaming just about every Wednesday. I know Casey streams almost every Sunday, so you're
Yeah.
gonna have some really cool stuff to tune into on the Twitch channel, and some of that stuff from Twitch will be here on the YouTube channel also. So make sure you're keeping tabs on all of our different media outlets. That way you don't lose anything or miss anything, because we've got a lot of stuff coming out. So definitely keep in touch with all of us.
Yeah, today on the YouTube, me and my British brother from another mother, Adam, we started a new session in Divinity. So for everyone that was freaking out, wondering, like, you're missing this or you're missing that, or why aren't you trying to get the murder? You guys are just running around killing stuff. We're finally getting back on the trail of the murder. Go check that out. So yeah, it's good stuff. We've got Star Wars: The Old Republic, Shadow Revan going up on the off days as well. So yeah, that's me. So Steven, do you want to tell us about next week's topic and lead us out, my friend?
I would love to, as soon as someone
Oh,
tells me which one it
as
is.
soon as you read our chat from like 5 hours ago. So Tommy, you want to tell us about next week's topic?
Next week's topic is going to be the best and worst heroes and villains.
Okay.
Of all
Yeah,
time.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
I like
Sure
how
it
Tyler.
was. Sure it was.
It was there, right on the tip of the tongue.
Right,
Yeah, I like how everyone else was just like, oh, but me and Tommy are the only ones that are clued in here.
Yeah. I thought it was something
Getting a
different.
cast getting- Yeah, we're bringing everybody else. You guys are done. Forget it.
Yeah.
It's just me and Tommy. We're just gonna yeah. So we'll be talking about the best heroes and villains and the worst heroes and villains from movies and TV shows, which I know Wayne has already just been like Killer Frost. We're
We're
From
gonna
the
have a
DC
whole topic
cartoons.
about that.
Big
Yeah,
time.
she sucks. Yeah, so Steven, lead us out, please.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. We really appreciate all the support and feedback, so definitely let us know what you think in the comments. Tweet at all of us. Leave comments on the Geeks with Wives website on our articles. That way we can communicate with you guys and hear what you have to say. Because you guys are just as important as all of this is. You know, we do it for you guys. So we really appreciate for you guys to tune in. We will see you again next week around this time, and I will let someone else end it with whatever they want to close it with. Since I closed it last time, who would like to close it out with a closing phrase?
Go for it, Tyler.
It's all you.
Okay, goodbye. I'm tired.
And there you have it, ladies and
There,
gentlemen.
we got it.
It's late and we're tired, but we do this for you. We'll see you next time.